On this episode of MythBusters, everyone's going round in circles.
Whoa!
Adam and Jamie get sucked in by a famous nautical mystery.
Whirlpool after whirlpool after whirlpool.
Can whirlpools kill?
Is everybody ready for diving?
Tori, Carrie, and Grant are in over their heads as well.
Something feels like it's dangerous. I'm not sure exactly what yet.
Snowed under by a snowplow.
There are cursed items in the world, and this is one of them.
Who are the MythBusters? Adam Savage and Jamie Hyneman.
This is gonna kill you.
Between them, more than 30 years of special effects experience.
That's what I'm talking about!
Joining them, Tori Belleci,
Very excited about this.
Carrie Byron,
Look, he cracked into his skull.
and Grant Imahara.
Don't say anything.
They don't just tell the myths, they put them to the test.
Care to explain what we're doing? 16 feet off the ground, standing above 9,000 gallons of swirling water, and I'm in a wetsuit?
Sure. This story is called The Whirlpool of Death. Now, this is a story that's been going on as long as man has been going to sea.
This is the mythical, hungry, evil vortex that appears in the ocean, sucking boats and sailors down to J.V. Jones' locker. That's the one?
That's the one.
Adam's right on the money. Whirlpools have always been a mesmerizing maritime menace. He might have been Lord of the Jungle, but in the face of a swirling vortex, even the mighty Tarzan was up the creek without a paddle. A canoe's one thing, but a whole ship? In part one of this myth, Adam and Jamie will construct their own whirlpool in a giant tank and bid bon voyage to some scale model ships. And in part two, they'll see what effect a whirlpool has on a lone swimmer.
I'd jump in right now.
Yeah, right.
I would!
Namely, Adam.
Well, go on then. Let's get in.
Hold on there. This is the end of the story. We got a whole bunch of material to cover before we get to this.
The first thing they want to do is clap eyes on a real whirlpool. And they don't have to go very far.
Yeah, we're going to look for turbulence here, which means I'm pretty sure we're going to cut to some shots of me vomiting while we were doing some Shark Week investigation.
You bet, Adam. We get plenty of mileage out of that queasy constitution of yours. This time, he's taken seasickness pills, which I'm sure the boys from the Coast Guard appreciate.
So, Hector, where am I going to find a couple of currents going against each other where I might see some whirlpools?
Right around the south tower right here, between this buoy and the south tower.
And right on cue,
This one right there.
not just one, it's a virtual convoy of vortices, all brought about by the bridge pylon.
The water that's directly behind the piling is moving more slowly, and the onrushing water that's going past it is mixing with it, and you start with swirling.
But not all whirlpools are the result of obstacles in the water. Most oceanic whirlpools form when opposing currents meet head-on. As the currents start to swirl around each other, a vortex forms in the center, causing the water to spiral downwards. In some cases, the vortex can plunge hundreds of feet. What effect do whirlpools this size have on a vessel? Adam steers straight into one.
Well, I've got no hands on this thing, and it's moving us back and forth. That is a lot of power.
Right now we're going at about 3.5 knots and 40,000 pounds plus our weight on the boat.
Adam, I tell you what, these whirlpools may not do anything but make it a little squirrely to steer this boat, but if I was in the water with one of them, I think I'd be in a little bit of trouble. I don't know that it would pull me down so much, but it'd be definitely spinning you around. See, that's like 6-8 feet across.
Yeah.
And if you were in the middle of that, you'd be kind of like, you'd be a little upset.
Yeah.
All this unfettered nature is bringing out the beat poet in Jamie.
Whirlpool after whirlpool after whirlpool.
Knew there was a reason for the beret. Man,
All of a sudden, I had an image of you at a poetry reading. Whirlpool after whirlpool after whirlpool. Green maw opening up to take me down. I had a pet lion.
And on that note, it's back to the workshop.
Well, obviously, it's easy to create a whirlpool in a cup.
Well, that would be a whirlpool.
That would be a whirlpool.
But the question is, how do we create it full-sized?
Well, I've done it before with paddle wheel.
I was thinking about trying to use water jets to create a whirlpool, and maybe even a recirculating system.
Okay, well, we can try both in a somewhat smaller scale than the real full-size one and see what happens.
The MythBusters go head-to-head. Adam will try and make a pump-powered whirlpool, while Jamie will work on a paddle to churn the water. Adam has a small pool pump and a tank with a hole at the bottom. When the pump is switched on, water is sucked down the hole, through the pump, and recirculated. The result? A perfect conical vortex.
Oh, look at that. That would be a vortex.
I'm able to maintain this vortex moving about 60% of the total volume of the vessel per minute. That means 60% of it's going down and coming back in.
And Adam being Adam, he can't resist staging a mock naval mishap.
This, technically, if this is a real container ship, this whirlpool would be well over a mile in diameter. Here's a little boat, unsuspecting on the high seas, and oh no, it's a whirlpool! That would be bad.
So the pump works well. Now it's Jamie's turn. He's got 2 metal paddles attached to a cordless drill motor.
330 RPM. The depth of the vortex is 9 inches. All right, let's move up to the medium-sized level. I want to kick it up a notch.
Kicking it up a notch means a larger tank, a larger pump, and larger blades on Jamie's paddle. But while Adam's early results are replicated perfectly,
14-inch vortex.
That's going all the way to the bottom, isn't it?
Going all the way to the bottom. It's a perfect vortex.
Jamie struggles to come to grips with the increase in size and speed.
That's pretty much all the way to the bottom, and that's 15 amps.
Okay.
They up the ante again, this time a 50-gallon tank. Once again, the pump provides an instant vortex.
Dude, perfect! Jeez, man, it's totally full depth.
And Adams made an intriguing discovery. Each time they move to a larger tank, it takes proportionally less water to maintain the whirlpool.
48 gallons total, and in order to maintain that whirlpool, we only needed to move 25 gallons per minute. It means that as we're getting larger, it requires less of the total volume to maintain that whirlpool, which is fantastic.
On the other hand, Jamie's paddles are using more power and threatening to take off.
We still got a way to go. We're only at 8.5 volts.
Having trouble holding on to it. I'm really using a lot of strength.
There's no beautifully shaped vortex, just a violent churning.
It's more of like a huge depression. It's like you're slinging the whole ocean outward, and it's not really a suction vortex. It's just sort of centrifugal force throwing things away from the middle.
And between the two, I'd much rather get into the one that I made with the pump than get into a tank with that thing.
Funny you should say that, Adam.
You know, I've been thinking about this, and I think we also need to actually test it on a full-size person. What do you think?
Okay, I'll go in. I'm not gonna like it, though.
To see how much he's not going to like it, Adam makes a mini Adam.
So I made a scale. He is not scaled to weight to us, and that was actually critical. I wanted to see what would happen if we were totally buoyant, like wearing life preservers in the Red Man suit. We drop in from the side. Whoa!
I wouldn't be at all surprised if you didn't just pass out. And if you pass out and you're in that water, unless you're tethered, you're screwed.
Once again, it looks like Adam will be going in over his head.
It's not like you're hopping into a pool full of water. You're hopping into a cone of water that drops down potentially 10 to 15 feet below you. That doesn't sound really pleasant.
Adam, you grew up in a snowy part of the U.S., right?
Yeah.
So you're an expert on the snowplows.
Sure.
Have you ever heard of a snowplow blasting a car off the road as it passes?
No, in the winter that happens without any outside influence.
Well, one of our fans on the website claims to have seen exactly that. Snowplow, with its plow up, passing on a freeway at high speed, blew a car clean off the freeway.
I'm extremely dubious.
You can see where they're going with this one, can't you? They're going to get a snowplow and a car, have them pass head-on at highway speed, and see if the car winds up on its roof. It sounds simple, but this myth will push our intrepid trio to the absolute limit.
This has been like the most troublesome myth I think we've ever done.
And for Grant, one of the most dangerous.
Where do you think we should start with this one?
Well, first of all, I want to know how much energy it takes to actually flip a car.
Yeah, that shouldn't be too hard to do. We could take our scales, so we can measure force, and then pick off a few points and just try and pull it over with a static load.
You volunteering your car?
Not my car.
Okay then, how about this one? Tori's been scouring the car yards, and this looks like it might fit the bill flip-wise.
It has a high center of gravity. It has a short wheelbase. It's got a lot of surface area being so flat, and it's really, really lightweight.
To find out what it takes to knock this vehicle off its tires, Tori lassos it, ties the rope to a force gauge, and attaches that to a pickup. Carrie counts off the pounds to tipping point.
500 pounds, 1,000 pounds. 1,000 pounds at peak time.
Then she calculates the surface area of one side and works out the pressure needed to push the vehicle over.
I've done the calculations. It's going to take 0.21 psi to flip this car. That's pounds per square inch.
They've got their test vehicle. The other thing they need is a snowplow. Tori's heard on the grapevine where they might get one for nix. High in the Sierras, on the California-Nevada border, this broken-down plow has sat half buried in its wintry tomb for years. They should never have disturbed its sleep. Carrie, Tori, and Grant are about to face the curse of the snowplow. No one knows for sure how long it stood dormant in that field, but long enough for it to become a rodent hotel.
Don't let him bite you!
What's that saying about rats and sinking ships?
I feel kind of bad now. This was his home.
Somehow, they've got to get this lunk of metal moving at 70 miles an hour.
Earlier we noticed that this snowplow is only rated for a top speed of 45 miles per hour. Our target for this is 70 miles an hour. There's got to be a reason that they're rating it for that.
At the moment, they'd be happy if it moved at all.
Who knows why this thing won't roll? I mean, this thing is really old. It could be rusted. The wheels could be rusted, stuck. It could, you know, the drive shaft might be stuck in the engine and we can't get it out of gear.
Oh, come on, Tori. Be happy. After all, you did get this baby for free. A little elbow grease should get it rolling again.
Dude, there's so much grease on this axle that I'm basically just making a barbecue pit down here.
We'll get some hot dogs, hang on.
Hey, Carrie, the rat turds are almost done.
I think she likes hers rare.
When it does get going, they'll want to know how much air pressure's coming off the plow. So Carrie builds a pressure gauge. Basically, it's a tube filled with colored water. As air pushes in one end of the tube, the water level rises along a scale marking off air pressure in pounds per square inch. An anemometer will also measure wind speed. Now, as the plow's not yet rolling, they test the gauge by bolting it to Jamie's truck and tearing off down the highway. Surely a vehicle this big and fast generates lots of air pressure, doesn't it?
How fast are we going?
We're at 65 miles an hour.
65? This is where we're actually getting about a half-inch reading on here, which is, you know, way less.
Remember, it took 0.21 psi to flip the test vehicle. At 65 miles per hour, Jamie's truck is pushing only a sixth of that. So what hope does the snowplow have? Mr. Belleci's already hearing alarm bells.
You're driving down a two-way highway and a semi-truck flies by you, and I've had that happen where my car feels like it's going to go off the road just from the wall of air that it's pushing in front of it. So if I wasn't blown off the road by a semi, I don't think I would be blown off the road by a snowplow.
We'll never know, Tori, unless you can get this one going.
So you're just going to cut the drive shaft?
Pretty much. All of them.
Cutting the drive shafts will free the wheels from the rusted gearbox. On the next towing attempt, the plow inches forward.
Stop!
Good.
Yeah!
All right, cool.
So it moves.
It should work.
It works!
Nice! I wouldn't get too excited, Grant. Your wheel woes ain't over yet.
One of your wheels isn't turning. It's just scraping along.
First run, top speed 2 miles per hour. We traveled a total of 50 yards. One of our tires is locked, and if that doesn't spin, it's going to create a lot of friction, and it may skew the truck in one direction or the other.
And so the wheels come off this experiment, both literally and metaphorically. But shedding them only leads to more trouble.
But when we got the last wheel off, the whole axle just dropped. All the suspension is totally off balance now, so the truck is pretty much useless until we get that wheel fixed.
Well, Tori, I guess you get what you pay for.
Sometimes, you try to save money, on the budget by getting things for free, but in the long run, after trying to get the thing for free to work, it would have actually been cheaper to buy a brand new truck.
The free plow could wind up costing them plenty. Adam and Jamie plan to make a whirlpool in order to see if a ship really can be sucked down in true Hollywood special effects style. They also plan to throw Adam in and see if he's swallowed whole. Now, what they'll be wanting is a whirlpool like this one. It's the world's largest tidal vortex, and it churns the waters off Deer Island Point in Canada. Nicknamed Old Sal, it can reach more than 200 feet in diameter and has been known to swirl at a top speed of around 14 knots, almost 3 times faster than the eddies Adam and Jamie saw under the bridge.
I was concerned and wanted to make sure that our methodology for a full-scale whirlpool was super accurate, and actually I confirmed it with a couple of experts. Our recirculating pump method is absolutely the most accurate way to reproduce a tidal whirlpool.
Great. Well, we've got our pump, and our researchers also got us a 9,000-gallon tank. So that should be, sufficient for our needs. And I suppose next we need to start thinking about the boats.
Well, we're not going to fit a real boat in there, so
obviously, yeah.
If we want to try something like a container ship, I'm going to have to make a scale one.
We should also make something like a fishing trawler, something that is smaller in real life as well.
That sounds great.
Suddenly, a normal day at M5 turns into Christmas morning.
Look at that. It's the toy every kid wants. A container ship. Gee, thanks, Dad. Now I can replicate international commerce.
The container ship model is 1 to 550 scale. The model trawler is 1 to 50.
These boats are already the correct scale and size for us. I just have to make sure they sit at the right height in the water, their displacement's correct, and then, we can run them into the whirlpool and see what happens to them.
Time is short, so he calls for backup.
We brought back Jess from the Mailbag Special.
You remember Jess. She was one half of the girls' team trying to reproduce Archimedes' death ray.
There is a fierce competition going on right now, and we're okay with it because we know eventually we're gonna win.
They didn't win.
I think that they cheated.
But it's that sort of fighting spirit they need around here.
She's gonna help me with some of the stuff to do on this boat, getting them leveled up and getting their displacement correct, so when the whirlpool's going, we have scale ships to test.
Jess's first job? Filling the hulls with lead shot so the models displace a realistic amount of water. Unfortunately, this container ship might have to leave port without its containers.
It's just going to be too top heavy. So I think we need to eliminate these altogether. But we should seal up this top so that it doesn't gather water.
While Jess gets everything ship-shape,
This is gold and purple. How much cooler does it get?
Adam and Jamie are off to the local dive shop.
Hello.
Hi, good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Hello.
Hi.
If Adam's planning to jump into their whirlpool of death, one or two safety precautions mightn't go astray.
And basically, it's a little tank with a purge valve in an emergency. You would pull off that cover, hold it up, put your lips around here, purge it once, and then breathe off it normally.
Sounds easy, but just to make sure, Adam wants to test the emergency air tank in the dive shop training pool.
I know there's going to be payback, but I just couldn't resist.
Problem is, you'll never know.
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Here you go, you're welcome.
They want to see how long it takes Adam to get the tank to his mouth. Jamie plays at being a whirlpool, pulling Adam under and spinning him around. Adam's a little slow on the draw.
There was definitely a little bit of a moment of panic because you pulled me right under. Let's try that again.
Okay.
The tank starts to roll, Jamie's pulling me. Whoa!
This time he can breathe easy.
That is like the ultimate little secret agent thing. And, you know, it's what you'd want to have in your arsenal is like, dun, 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 you know, going under the water to go put the charge on the ship or something like that.
Let's just hope you don't have to use it during the full-scale experiment. If what happened to your model is anything to go by, that tank could be your last gasp. The myth says a snowplow traveling at highway speed can generate enough air pressure off the plow to flip a passing car. But first, Tori, Carrie, and Grant are busting the myth that something for nothing is always better than paying for it.
You know, considering the man hours, wouldn't it have been a little bit cheaper to get a truck for maybe $1,000 that all the wheels roll on?
In the past, people have kindly donated all types of vehicles to this show. They were already earmarked for the scrap heap. The MythBusters, well, they just sped up the process. This time, though, they need their free plow to function.
You know, it was free. That's the key word here, that it was free, so I don't know.
With one of its wheels totally frozen, the only thing this plow's likely to flip is Tori's lid. Finally, after almost 2 days and several gallons of lube,
Look at that.
Progress!
Hey!
Check it!
Hey! You got it working.
hooray, the snowplow goes. Question now is, will it stop? For this experiment, braking will be crucial. Normally, the MythBusters stop vehicles by running them into things. They are the collision kings. But not this time.
Unlike previous episodes where, our braking system was, a crash, this time we just want the vehicles to pass each other and then be able to decelerate them after that.
There's only one way to find out if the plow's brakes work, and that's to tow it along and have someone try them. That someone will be Grant. Carrie's got a bad feeling about this.
I don't know exactly what it is about today and right now and what we're doing, but something feels like it's dangerous. I'm not sure exactly what yet, but something feels really dangerous.
And that would be different from usual how?
Well, Grant, normally Buster would be in the hot seat for something like this, but not even he's a big enough dummy to get in a plow that looks as if it was dreamed up by Stephen King. Even though Grant will have a crash helmet and a safety harness, Tori's getting jittery.
I don't think we should get you going at 70 miles an hour with you in it. I just don't think it's safe. If you can't stop fast enough, you might take another path into this, you know, to wherever.
For this run, they settle on a sedate 20 miles per hour. And they're wise to be cautious. Let's face it, nothing else on this relic has worked so far. What are the odds the brakes will?
All right, we're at 20 miles an hour.
We're at 20 miles an hour.
Okay, ready to brake in 3.
Ready to brake in 3, 2, 1, now.
Grant stomps on the brake. Nothing. He yanks the emergency brake, but still the plow doesn't stop. Instead, it runs over the tow chain. The chain snaps and the plow's off its leash.
Oh.
Lucky it was only a slow tow.
You okay?
Yeah.
Ooh. That was 20 miles an hour.
And we almost killed him.
Well, and okay, when the chain went to the side and your wheel actually took it, it also took the entire steering rig and knocked it. So if you were going 70, this thing would have flipped.
I hit the e-brake on the snowplow and it just started veering off to the side and it ran over the chain, which made the steering wheel violently whip all the way around, damaged one of our cameras, and it was pretty scary.
Those brakes have to work, so it's time to wheel in some professional help. Snowplow experts Pat Manning and Matt Edgman are the guys who found the plow for us.
Well, it belonged to the county. From the county, it was given to one of our other mechanics. And when Eric called up, we sent it down to you.
And we're very grateful. Now, if you could just get the brakes to work.
Things that could be wrong with it, rust, water, all those things can complicate something on a vehicle that's old.
Matt's more optimistic. He bleeds the brake system, and what do you know?
Hey, Grant, I think it's working. It's time to go for a ride.
You know, we've been out here for 3 days. This would have been the 4th day. You guys got it working in 45 minutes.
Oh, man.
That's fantastic. 3, 2, 1.
Well, sort of. Only half the wheels are braking. But after 3 days, that's enough to get Grant excited.
Yeah, baby, yeah! You guys rock! Yeah! Yeah! Okay, that's good. The brakes are working.
There's no way Grant or anyone else will be in either vehicle when the test happens. So he devises a remote-controlled braking rig for both the plow and the target vehicle. When he flips a switch, a linear actuator presses the pedal.
So I guess that's it.
Meanwhile, over at Whirlpool Central, Adam's been doing a little research.
I actually think I've come across a super dramatic account of a whirlpool that sucked ships down. In 1980 in Louisiana, an oil drilling platform on a lake accidentally punctures a salt mine, and the entire lake drains into the salt mine, sucking down like over a dozen ships.
That vortex measured more than 60 feet in diameter. Amazingly, no one was injured in the bizarre accident, and 9 of the vessels actually popped back to the surface. Jamie, however, is unmoved.
Well, that's great, but that's not what this story's about. This story's about tidal whirlpools, not boats getting sucked into a cave.
Fine.
The guys are ready to go full scale, breathlessly awaiting the arrival of their big tank.
This is our tank. It's 9,200 gallons. It's 10 feet wide and 16 feet tall, and it was specially made just for us.
First, Jamie cuts a hole in the bottom for the intake hose. The tank will have to sit above ground to leave room for the plumbing.
It is going to weigh about 45 tons, and it's got a drain right out the bottom. And we need to have some space for that, but also be able to support the whole thing. So these railway ties are a platform for that to sit on and also allow us to pump, recirculate the water.
Speaking of which, here it is, a 200 horsepower construction pump, capable of moving 4,500 gallons a minute.
Which should provide enough energy to get this whole close to 10,000 gallons of water swirling and create a vortex.
One anaconda-like hose will carry water away from the tank. A second will put it back in the top. Soon they've got a monolithic version of Adam's benchtop setup. Now, just add water. Myth-turned Jess fills a water truck from a hydrant.
How do I know when it's full?
The truck holds 2,000 gallons, and filling it takes about 30 minutes. With the tank holding more than 9,000 gallons, it'll take hours to fill. Even with San Francisco's weather pitching in.
Seems that Mother Nature is providing us a little topping off of our water tank. We're gonna do this experiment no matter what. They say hell or high water. Well, that's precisely what's happening here.
The Mythbusters want to flip this vehicle using only the air pressure coming off this snowplow. This is the plan. The plow and the flip vehicle will each have 1,500 feet of towing cable attached. The cable will be fed through a system of pulleys, which will allow the towing vehicles to move away from the track.
These are our road barriers that we're going to be using to anchor our pulleys. Right now they're empty. We're going to fill them up with water, and after we're filling them with water, they'll weigh around 1,200 pounds. Trying to get these two vehicles to pass as close as possible. If this moves at all, that's going to change the course of our vehicles, and then, that's going to destroy our experiment.
The pulleys are strapped to the barriers and ready to go. But before getting the vehicles to pass, they've got to make sure Grant's remote braking rig can stop the plow.
We're going to hook it up to the 1,500 feet of cable, tow it through the pulley system, and then brake, and pray that everything works.
And just in case it doesn't?
I'm laying sandbags down for the last Hail Mary. In case the brakes don't work, it'll slow down the snowplow and we won't end up busting our barriers.
Are we ready to go?
I'm ready to go. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
How confident are you in these brakes?
Oh, pretty confident.
Okay.
Let's hope that confidence isn't misplaced. If the brakes don't work, the plow will plow straight into the barriers.
Okay, Carrie, call out the miles per hour as you accelerate, and when you hit 70, get ready for a little bump.
Okay, rolling in 3, 2, 1.
Carrie accelerates. Like some horror movie monster, the plow lurches into life.
10 miles.
They're aiming for 70 miles per hour, but the car's struggling to pull the plow up to speed. Carrie only reaches 40 before Grant has to brake.
Okay, I'm gonna brake. 3, 2, 1.
Crap.
The plow doesn't even slow down.
Oh, no! Oh, man.
Well, let's see.
I guess that would be 100% carnage.
Tori, you're 100% correct.
I think that rear wheel that's been giving us problems locked up again. We're dragging that. I fired the actuator and, well, just kept right on trucking.
This is how things usually look after a Mythbusters experiment, not before.
Oh! I just sliced them. Well, I'm not happy. We weren't able to get the truck to stop. Our steering mechanism has been ripped off the truck, so I'll have to re-weld that back on. We've destroyed 2 road barriers, and tomorrow we're supposed to do the experiment. I'm thinking we're gonna build a wall of sandbags.
At least
that might be our best bet to stop this thing.
You mean, so you spent 3 days on a remote control trigger and we're gonna put a wall of sandbags in front of it? All right, this has been like the most troublesome myth I think we've ever done.
The curse of the snowplow strikes again. Back at the big tank, Adam's itching to know if his plan to pump start a whirlpool will work in 9,000 gallons of water. So they fire up the pump and give it a whirl.
Ho, ho, ho! Yeah!
I guess we judged it right.
Oh, that is so, oh man!
In fact, it's working too well. Nature's fastest vortex moves at 14 knots, about 42 revolutions a minute, which looks something like this. But remember, they've got 2 scale model ships. What happens when they scale down the Whirlpool to match?
1/50th scale? That's 1 revolution per minute.
Which looks like this. And the 1/500th scale container ship?
That's 1 revolution every 10 minutes.
Which is practically not moving at all. So after all that, their scale experiment simply won't work. But leave it to Adam to put a positive spin on things.
So I think we look at this as a damage experiment. We see where the ship starts sustaining actual danger and damage of sinking, and then we calculate what the speed is and see how that compares to real-world whirlpools. All right, this is our 1/500th scale container ship. It's actually 1,000 feet long in real life, like the ones behind me.
Imagine this is the ocean. If this ship was real, it would be traveling at 230 miles per hour. And even then, it's not in any danger of being sucked down.
So in terms of scale of a naturally occurring whirlpool, that's busted. That's going 20 times faster than the fastest whirlpool ever recorded.
So it's like over 200 knots or something, right?
Yeah, it's way off the charts.
So now we have to find out what it would take.
The pump roars into life, and soon a vortex of supernatural strength opens up. Sunk without trace, I believe, is the term.
Oh, it's down to Davy Jones' locker, isn't it?
All right.
That's about like, you know, Mach 3 or something, is it? What do you say?
That whirlpool was like a ½ mile in diameter.
Well, that's what it took.
Time for boat test number 2.
All right, so this is a 1/50th scale fishing trawler. In real life, it's about 70 feet long, and it's heading towards what would be a pretty significant anomaly there. Whoa! Oh! At this point, it's going about 130 knots. And that's not creating a vortex that's enough to suck this thing down.
Yeah.
That's 4 times, 5 times as fast as the fastest vortex ever recorded.
But the trawler's not even taken on water. Jess poses the question on everyone's lips.
So what I want to know is how much it will take to suck this little boat down.
All right, well, let's start up the pump.
This vortex would be 150 feet in diameter, moving at more than 100 knots. Anchors away. And the fishing trawler becomes catch of the day.
Now, that is the kind of whirlpool they write about in fiction. Unfortunately, there's no such thing as that kind of whirlpool in that scale in the real world.
Yeah, but wouldn't it be great if it was?
I think we've already proved that there is no vortex large enough that could suck down a ship as large as a container ship. Even a 70-foot long ship, the tidal flow required to create a vortex that could suck it down is not possible on this planet.
This has been One Problem Plow.
This is a cursed item. There are cursed items in the world, and this is one of them. It's everything we try and do to it goes wrong.
And how? Don't get Carrie started.
We dragged the truck and left a nice burn of rubber because one of the wheels does not turn at all. So then we tried to get the tire off. Everything's rusted shut. So Tori had to make this giant lug wrench, and then there was another tire behind that. So they just cut it off. Then it turns out that the entire truck sank to one side.
And that was before the brakes failed. Hold on. Aren't we supposed to be busting a myth here? Can a snowplow blow a car off the road? So far, what they do know is that the pressure needed to flip their chosen vehicle is 0.21 pounds per square inch. But when Carrie tested her air pressure gauge, not even Jamie's truck could push anywhere near that much. Desperate times call for desperate measures.
This snowplow is kicking our butts. There's no way we're gonna have time to test to see how much wind the regular plow is pushing.
Okay, well, I say to save time, from here on out, we build the largest plow we possibly can. I mean, something ridiculously large that's, you know, as tall as a cab, but still drivable on the road. If that can't flip it, nothing will.
Way to cut to the chase.
I like it. Let's do that.
The plow's been behaving like Frankenstein's monster. Now it's starting to look like it, too. They weld a steel frame to the existing plow and attach sheets of plywood. They hope the added surface area will funnel a strong enough blast of air to flip the vehicle. Meanwhile, just for a change, Grant's fixing the brakes.
We had a brake system failure yesterday, and Matt, our snowplow expert, came in today, had a look at it, and he thinks that we weren't pressing down the pedal far enough. So what I've done is welded up a new bracket, and I've pushed it in.
With that done, the truck is ready to roll again. Time to see if the monster plywood plow can push enough air to flip the test vehicle. The metal missiles will be towed towards each other. For maximum safety, the cable's been threaded through a system of pulleys, so the tow vehicles can head away from the track and away from danger.
Okay, here we go. In 3, 2, 1, go.
The plow extension will increase drag, meaning it'll be even harder to tow the lumbering beast up to 70 miles per hour. Nevertheless, they gun the tow vehicles.
The snowplow's moving. Okay, the snowplow's moving.
And the target vehicle's moving. Great.
Nice.
Now there's no turning back. The plow hits 60 miles per hour, faster than it's ever gone before. Will the vehicles cross paths or crash head-on? They pass like jousting knights, the distance between them just a few feet. The target vehicle doesn't so much as tilt. All 4 wheels remain firmly on the tarmac. After everything that's happened, finally they have a successful test. Now Grant just has to bring both vehicles to a gentle stop.
Okay,
total devastation.
This looks like a bad thing, but it really isn't. Because
Why is it not a bad thing?
I'll tell you why. We have the snowplow driving at top speed, going across the road here, and the car passed it and it didn't get blown off the road. So we show that you cannot blow a car off the road with a snowplow.
The super plow is nothing but smashed plywood and twisted metal.
It looks like urban destruction.
I bet this is gonna be a really good shot.
Oh yes, Terry, it is. The brakes obviously failed again. Or did they? Grant's got a confession.
Forgot to activate the brake.
You didn't activate the brakes!
Well, I activated it after crashing to the barrier. See,
I knew there was something up because that went right through.
Yeah, well.
That was cool.
Yeah, I think that's why my snowplow looks like that.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Strangely enough, no one appears too upset.
I'm glad Grant didn't hit the brakes, because there's nothing better than seeing that truck destroyed because it's given us so many problems. I'm happy.
What is this?
This is the door from the snowplow. We decided to keep it. Why? I don't know, because we had so many problems with that snowplow. We should just melt it down, but I guess we're gonna keep it as a reminder.
I take it wasn't the easiest myth to bust.
Yeah.
No, we did everything we possibly could. We used an unfeasibly large snowplow, the biggest plow that our expert concedes he'd ever seen.
Also, we used a really small lightweight car.
And we did get the car to pass the snowplow about 4 to 6 feet apart at 60 miles an hour. Nothing happened.
Nothing.
It didn't flip.
So that would make this one pretty easily
busted.
Busted?
Clearly busted.
You guys aren't looking forward to revisiting it anytime soon?
I don't think we need to.
No.
Don't write to Tori about this one.
Don't do it again.
And just to make sure the snowplow's curse is lifted forever, the MythBusters take sweet revenge.
It's over now.
The curse is over.
The curse has ended. That's it. No more.
The Whirlpool of Death myth has gone down the gurgler. Adam and Jamie have shown that no natural whirlpool is powerful enough to swallow a ship.
Well, it's down to Davy Jones' locker, isn't it?
But how about a person? Well, we're about to find out.
How many other people get a chance to jump into a huge man-made vortex?
Don't think many are queuing up, actually, Adam.
Is everybody ready for diving?
As excited as he is, Adam won't just dive into the tank. He'll hold onto a trapeze, which Jamie can raise or lower. Even so, it's risky. If Adam loses his grip and gets swallowed, the emergency air supply will give him just a handful of breaths.
All right, I'm going in.
All right, be careful.
Oh, that's not so bad. Okay, I'm holding onto the trapeze, and I'm really nicely buoyant, and I'm ready for the pump.
The water will be moving at the same speed as the world's fastest natural whirlpool, over 14 knots.
Starting to form, Adam.
Oh, that is cool!
The vortex gathers strength. Adam starts to feel suction, pulling him down.
Whoa! Oh, wow, I can totally feel it in my feet. That is cool! Woo! Whoa!
After less than a minute, Adam's whirlpool pirouette is making him giddy. Jamie cuts the pump before he can lose his grip. Adam's body slowly stops spinning, but not his head.
Are you okay?
Have you ever really looked at the sky?
For my money, that was about as good as it gets in terms of a whirlpool.
Well, I would agree, actually. And I would say that if I hadn't been tethered, I would definitely have been sucked down by that. But, so I would say that we could conclude a naturally occurring whirlpool could be lethal to a swimmer, but not a boat.
We didn't really see it go all the way down because I was kind of keeping you up out of the water. Do you feel comfortable with letting yourself be lowered a little further to where you're going to get your head underwater?
Yeah, I don't feel that great. I feel a little queasy, but I think I can handle one more test.
When Adam says he's feeling queasy, they should know something's up, or about to be up. No sooner does Jamie lower the trapeze and the experiment reaches its predictable, some would say inevitable, conclusion. Yo heave ho indeed.
Did you get that?
Oh yeah, we got it.
Well, that's great.
Smells like pizza.
Welcome aboard, Jess.
Yeah! The moment you gave me a little slack, my head went right under the water. It was really, really clear that even at that slow speed, the force was really powerful. Now, I'm done with science for today.
You don't look so good, Adam.
Now, if I hadn't been tethered to the trapeze, I would have totally gotten sucked down. Absolutely, the force was really shocking. And to boot, I was booting. I mean, it made me really sick. There's no way you'd be able to survive that. If you were in scuba gear, you'd be aspirating into your scuba gear. That is a deadly thing we made.
Well, as near as I can tell, that was around 14 knots. That's close to the record speed that's ever been recorded in an oceanic whirlpool.
So where does that leave us for this myth? Busted, plausible, or confirmed?
Well, I would say that would be busted.
I'd say for boats, it's busted. And for people, it's plausible.
Yeah, don't get in the water if you see a whirlpool.
You okay with that?
Oh yeah, definitely. Go get warm, buddy.
Oh.